First, two questions. What is your name and how old are you?
My name's Tony. I'm 23.
What do you do for a living?
I work in IT.
How long have you been into cars?
I've been into cars, I don't want to say all my life, but I don't know, it's just the thing that I've been into since I was as long as I can remember.
What got you into cars in the first place?
I don't know. I just, when I was a kid, I used to have a fucking little race car rug, and I had like a bunch of Hot Wheels. I used to drive them on when I was younger. That's always just been like a thing of mine. I've always enjoyed cars. I've always enjoyed collecting Hot Wheels and watching the cars go by down the street. And I started playing like, you know, the Need for Speed and all that stuff when I was younger, and then just kind of, I don't know, as time went on, the toys changed, and there you go, now I got that.
What got you into the part of the car scene you're in now?
I don't know, my friend let me drive, I guess as far as the Miata goes, my friend let me drive his back when he had it, and it was a really cool experience for me because I was already kind of like a little into them, and then he let me drive it back on our YouTube channel, my YouTube channel I used to kind of do reviews on back in the day. He had me drive it, and then he let me drive it by myself to get like the full experience of driving the Miata without a passenger. It was just a really, I remember to this day that feeling that I had when I was driving it. Felt like it was like, this is something I need to have. And I bought one a couple years later, went to a couple track days, autocross events, and wanted to get more into that. This is a good chassis to kind of start with. So I did a couple autocross events up at Dragway 42. And I did my first track day this year at Mid-Ohio, and that's just kind of what I've been kind of going for with this car, at least. Just a fun track car that I could drive on the street. 3 years ago from today, so 2016, I worked at my internship at the time and just saved up money from every paycheck, and you know, saved up enough cash, and was looking on Craigslist, and this was back before Facebook Marketplace was like a thing, I think. So Craigslist, looking around on Craigslist, and found this one. It was completely stock, and I saved up the money and went out to Indiana and bought it. $1,900.
That's not even bad.
3 years. A little over 3 years. August of 2016 is when I got it, so 3.5 years.
So your daily or your race car?
I wouldn't call it a race car. I consider it more of a track car. It's definitely not a daily. I drive it in the summertime and spring, basically when it's not snowing or really cold out, but it's not my daily, not my only car. So probably take to the track and meets and shows occasionally and stuff like that.
Now, what are some of your favorite parts about your car?
I kind of like how it's a little different. My favorite part, I guess, that I have on is the watts, even though they're not real watts. I'll admit that. But it's a wheel that I really like, and I didn't really have the money to buy actual 1 ton of these at the time, and I still really don't. I don't really justify spending more than what I paid for the car for a set of wheels when these look pretty much exactly the same. So that's probably my favorite part, and that and the exhaust. Near future plans to fix some cosmetic things, paint it, because you can tell it's kind of not all the same shade of red. And long term, I plan to do more track days, supercharge it, and just keep driving it as a fun street track car.
What are some of your least favorite parts about the car?
Least favorite parts? That's a tough one. Probably, I said I like the wheels a lot. I also hate the wheels at the same time because of the offset. So it makes it really hard for me to fit, you know, normal sized tires. So it's a real pain in the ass to keep them from rubbing. That's probably one of my least favorite parts. And the fact that it's not all the same shade of red and it has some rust on it. But these are all things that can be fixed. So.
Do you have any cool stories or horror stories to tell about the car? Major,
I almost got crushed by a truck. That was fun. I was driving to work on like 2 hours of sleep, and my truck's going around on the highway, tips over, and the whole thing was just sliding towards me on the highway, and I was like completely out of it without even thinking. I swerved over into the next lane and just missed it. Other than that, not really. I spun it out on the highway once. That was a fun time. I learned my lesson there, but not really anything too crazy, I guess.
Is your motor stock or modified?
As the engine itself, I would consider stock. I don't have anything done to the top end or bottom end. I have bolt-ons basically, intake, full exhaust, as far as drivetrain goes.
That's 14.
Yeah, no, this thing is dead nuts reliable. It's like, I can beat the hell out of it and it's fine. Oh, well, I thought of another horror story. One time I drove with 2 quarts of oil on it because I didn't check the oil for a little bit. And I drained it, time for an oil change, and I had about 2 quarts in there, so that scared the hell out of me. But it's still a learning process. I'm not like a mechanic or anything. I'm like mechanic by learning from friends and the internet, stuff like that. So I can do little things here and there, but I've had a lot of help along the way from a lot of my close friends and people I met in the community. But yeah, for right now, it's a stock engine.
What brand coilovers is it on?
Flying Miata VMAX Classics.
And what components of your overall suspension have you changed to aftermarket?
Right now I have coilovers. They were buildable. I had to build them, so they came with the top hats, the bushings, all that stuff. But right now, just coilovers as far as suspension goes.
Next on to the wheel setup. So what wheels are on?
So they're Rota RKRs. They're the same, as far as I'm aware, they're the same specs as the real thing. And actually a lot of people think that the real thing. They always ask, oh, those real watts. So they are 15/8 plus 0. So the offset's a little wonky.
What tires are you running on the wheels?
These are actually new tires that I just got maybe a couple months ago, not too long ago. They are Federal 595 RSRs. They're 205 50 15s. They're like 200 treadwear tires.
What interior mods have you done?
Interior, I don't really have too much. I have different seats from a different OEM car, from an M Edition, which you see from the tan seats. I have a Nardi wheel. I have a short throw and a shifter extender. Trying to think what else. Oh, and I don't know if you got a shot of it, I have different gauge faces. And just aside from little cosmetic things, I have different switches on the dash.
Do you have any accessories or custom, not on the market parts in your interior?
I have. It's kind of a cool little thing. What I really like about Miatas is that the community out here, at least, is really awesome. And everyone I met in the community is really cool and really friendly. I've met a lot of friends through the community. But anyways, from the local community, local group I'm in, there's a guy who makes cup holders. Since the cup holders in these cars are kind of not really that great, he makes cup holders that you can bolt onto the center console. He makes cup holders that you can bolt on the center console. He makes with like a CNC machine, and he sold me one for really cheap. I think I was like one of the first ones to like buy his product when he started making them, and I think he still sells them now. So I guess that's as far as like custom whatever goes. Just kind of cool, nice little creature comfort. I don't have to worry about where to put drinks.
What all do you have done to the exterior of the car?
Not too much as far as body goes. I have a lip, our package lip, which is just an OEM. It was an OEM option for the car, and I'm trying to think what else. And I have a duck bill on the back, and I did a bumper cut. The bumper cut's kind of nice because one, mainly I think it looks cool, and two, it supposedly eliminates drag as far as when you're on the track. But with a car like this, it doesn't really matter. I'm not really out to set lap records or lap times or whatever. I'm just there to have fun on track, HPDE for now. But as far as that goes, is about it. I have and then I have the tow hook, which is more of like a functional thing, and required for on track. And I have different colored marker lights, just for I don't know. But I like how they look. So Miatas are cool. Buy one. They're great. If you're looking for a car that you want to get into, like track or autocross or anything like that, they're great cars to start with. They're cheap, easy to work on, reliable. There's tons of aftermarket support for them. You can do pretty much anything with them. I've met so many different people with so many different styles of, with their cars. Yeah, they're great cars to pretty much do anything. It's like a first project car, which is what this is for me. My first project car, first a lot of things. I don't remember what I said. Cheap, easy to work on. The community's great. There's a lot of really cool people that I've met through owning this car. And there's so many different, types of stuff that you can do with them. You can make them show cars, you can make track cars, you can make whatever. I don't know what else to say. That's about it, man. Miatas are cool. Fucking drive one.